Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. My name is Ryan and welcome to the Football Chatbox. Today we are going to be looking into Game Week 7 and I'm going to be answering your team questions and also wildcard questions ahead of Game Week 7. Welcome to the stream. My name is Ryan and welcome to the... Okay, that was unexpected. Alright, let's do that again. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Football Chat Box. If you are new, do hit the subscribe button and do hit the like button as well because it helps the video to get found. Today we're going to be answering Game Week 7 team selection questions and wildcard questions as well, and maybe we'll also look into Game Week 8. So welcome to the stream everyone. So here we go. This is my team at the moment, but I am considering in terms of making one more switch, which would be Aylin. Probably out for... I still haven't decided who. I am eyeing an Arsenal defender, mainly because Arsenal's run of fixtures do seem to be, what we would say, decent options. So I am considering an Arsenal defender. And looking at it, I'm thinking... because this is Arsenal's fixture run for the next set of fixtures. And here we go: Brighton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Leicester, Watford, Newcastle. Out of the next 8, not too bad a set of fixtures. They have improved their defense as well. So I am actually considering it, and I'll probably go with Kieran Tierney. That is my probably the person that I will probably be selecting. And Aylin has got to go. Aylin has probably been my worst signing from the start. I got him from the start. I didn't play him for the United game, and ever since then he hasn't got me anything. So thankfully he's managed to hold his price through all of that. He's held his price, which is, I don't know how he's managed to do it, but he's got to go now because his price is not going to stay long like that. So yeah, so that's the stream. If you do have any questions, let me know in the chat. I am going to be taking a -4 because it is my second transfer, but I don't mind it. Tierney is more attacking out of the Arsenal fullbacks, and I'm just going to hope that he can get that performance. The next set of fixtures is decent, and I'm hoping for a few clean sheets. That's what I'm hoping for, mainly. And then if any attacking returns come above that, that's nice. So let's make the transfer. I will take the -4 hit, because I'm thinking a lot of people are going to end up taking it. And let's start him in. So this is what my team will most likely look at. Toying between Ronaldo and Antonio captaincy. At the moment, it is on Antonio. Last time, I had it on Salah, and then I switched it last minute. This time, I think I might back myself and go with Antonio. So that's my team. If you do have any questions, do ask in the chat, and let's get into maybe what people would be doing for wildcard for Game Week 7 or even Game Week 8. If you are building a wildcard for Game Week 7, ideally, actually, let me add these guys. You could also not have Trent, to be honest. Let's go without Trent for now. And I would probably have a team as follows. So in goalkeeper, I think Sanchez is still a decent shout, but now I think there are a couple better keepers, and I like the look of Ramsdale. He's looking like Arsenal's first choice keeper, so Ramsdale is a really good shout. I do like him as a keeper option. Another person who may be a really good shout would be goalkeepers Jose Sa from Wolves. Wolves have another set of good fixtures, and he did get a 14-pointer in his last game. He's most likely not going to get another 14-pointer because of the assist. It did help, but he's a really good keeper. And if you remember watching the Game Week 4 wildcard when I did it, okay, I did recommend Jose Sa, and he's got a clean sheet in the first return I recommended. Obviously, Brentford game, unlucky. But 14-point return after that. So Game Week 4 wildcard, if you were there and if you're listening, he's a good option. So I'll still add him as well. And then let's look at maybe defenders, right? Oh, actually, apart from these two keepers, like I mentioned, Sanchez is also a good option. Another keeper that maybe could be, so when we're talking in the podcast. Guaita isn't okay, maybe not. Like, he has a decent set except for the Arsenal and City game, but the rest are not too bad until game week 14. The other one we were looking at was Rare when his fixtures improve after game week 8. I mean, this run until game week 16 is actually good. So for people who want to consider, I mean, you could probably go with an Edison, but I wouldn't recommend it because of the fact that it kind of like locks you out of a City attacking position if you want to like go with 2 City defenders as well. I wouldn't really recommend any 6 million or above 5. Like 5 million is the max I'll probably recommend for a goalkeeper, because if you go anything above, you're hoping for attacking returns and all from players of that value, and you're not going to get that from goalkeepers, and you're hoping for at least bonus points, and that is also very unlikely because the players with the 5.5, 6 million price tags are keepers from the more bigger teams, and they don't do much saves or anything per se to be getting bonus points. So I don't think they are a good option. So these will be my first 2 preferences for goalkeepers. On a wild card, you can pick one of the 2 and then have another 4 million defender over there. Okay. Sorry, a 4 million goalkeeper. Now for defense, right? I've got Rudiger. I think Rudiger is the preferred option of the Chelsea defenders. If anyone watched the Champions League game, Marcos Alonso did get subbed at halftime, and he kind of did get subbed as well. What was it? The cup game? I don't even remember. No. So the Champions League game, he got subbed. The City game, he didn't really play well. He did get a bit roasted on that side, but he's still a good player. Like, if he starts Southampton, I mean, he's not going to go for the international break, and he's not even like a center. He's not even a left back, right? He's basically a striker for Chelsea. The way he plays, he's just very, very attacking, and he's got set pieces as well. So he will still be my option as a second Chelsea player. But there has been news that Reece James is also fit for Chelsea, because I think Gareth Southgate has probably included him in his England squad. So Reece James, if he's fit and if he's going to be back in the Chelsea team, could be a decent option. And he's a bit cheaper than Marcos Alonso as well, who's about to hit 6 million by tomorrow, most likely. So Reece James, another good option. Who else? Let's go defenders. People are talking about Azpilicueta maybe as an option because he's more considered. I really wouldn't go for Azpilicueta because you're most likely getting clean sheets and very few attack and returns. I do like Christensen maybe at 5 million because I think he's a bit more... he gets the occasional rotation, but he's more guaranteed to get you the same return as Azpilicueta for significantly cheaper, for $1 million cheaper. So I wouldn't really recommend Azpilicueta. City defenders, I think you need to get a City defender if you're wildcarding. I know they are playing Liverpool, but I mean, they played Chelsea already, and they managed to keep a clean sheet. They play Leicester as well. So I still think you need a City defender in there. So I would probably go with Cancelo. He's been up to this present moment, he's played every single match. He might get the occasional rotation, but there are over this 3, right? So here's the thing. You could potentially drop Trent Alexander-Arnold, and over the next 4 game weeks, okay, if you compare Trent alongside maybe Cancelo, I think Cancelo has a much better chance of getting attacking returns over Trent, because Trent does have... So he's missing this one. He's got Watford. We don't know if he's going to play Watford as well, because just after Watford, they have the Champions League game against Atletico Madrid. That will be a tough game for Liverpool. So United after that, and then Brighton, okay, but then West Ham after that. So I think you can go without Trent Alexander-Arnold for a decent set of fixtures until game week 11 is done. I think you can go without Trent. From there, you probably want to have Trent back in your team. I think you need to have the funds at least to be able to bring him back in your team, because after that, I think he is essential for that run over there. So you might want to look at you can go without Trent and I don't see anything against going without Trent until game week 11. We did have a viewer last time as well when we did this video last week. Sam in the chat mentioned there is a possibility to go without Trent and gain better points. And yeah, I mean, looking at it right now, yeah, you can go without Trent. You could probably bring in Cancelo or even Diaz as an option, and like get better points. If I was to pick in terms of doubling up between Chelsea defense and City defense, or whether you want to double up on both, I don't really like the double up of Chelsea and two City in the same team, because if one of those teams lose a clean sheet, or if both teams happen to lose a clean sheet in that specific game week, your team score is going to be ruined big time. So one team maybe double up is fine. If it was a one team double up, I do like City more than Chelsea, and that's exactly why I think wildcarding in game week 8 is a bit more better than wildcarding in game week 7. But Diaz is another option, and then obviously to fit the bill and like the whole budget wise, Livramento, really good option, plays for Southampton. And not only that, Southampton's fixtures apart from the Chelsea game week 8 to game week 12, you could very well actually be looking at starting Livramento. I don't see why you wouldn't want to start Livramento, because that one is insanely good, and Southampton have improved their defense. So I can see why people would, I mean, you could probably play a back four with Livramento, Diaz, Cancelo, Rudiger, or even Tierney. I mean, looking at this team, you could potentially play a back five even, to be honest, because of the way the midfield is going, and the midfield not returning us points that we wanted. A back five with this team could very well be on the cards, like a 5-3-2. So that could actually very well be on the cards. Apart from that, midfielders, right? Let's look at midfielders. Salah must own. No choice about that. But then after that, it gets hard. So actually, let's not touch on midfielders. Let's come to midfielders last, because that's the kind of position which is like a bit hard to tell. Let's go forwards. Now, if any of y'all watched the podcast, we bought in Vardy the week before, last game week, and we captained him, and he returned goals, because we've been talking about Vardy all this time, and we've been like, he's getting goals, and he continues to get goals, and people just keep avoiding him because he's at that price point. But if you're dropping Trent, right? If you're dropping Trent and you have that extra funds, you could probably bring in Vardy. And then obviously to get rid of Trent, you might take some time. But to bring back in Trent, you might have to remove Vardy. But like, Vardy is a really good shout. And then the other one that people are going with is Lukaku. And I can see why, because like, it's a really good set of fixtures. Like, why wouldn't you go? I mean, if you have Ronaldo, I think there's a case. Like me, I have a Ronaldo, okay? There is a case to keep Ronaldo for game week 7 and game week 8, because Ronaldo faces an Everton and a Leicester. Isn't too bad. Both those teams, okay, Everton have improved their defense, as I pointed out in the captaincy video, but Leicester defensively aren't great. So you could potentially have Ronaldo for those two game weeks if you're not wildcarding in game week 7. You could potentially hold Ronaldo and then bring in Lukaku, because I think Lukaku in game week 9 is playing Norwich, game week 10 is playing Newcastle, game week 11 Burnley. That's a really good run of fixtures for Lukaku. I think everyone wants to have Lukaku during that time. The only consideration at the moment, the reason why you can go without Lukaku in game week 7 is because Chelsea's last two games, City and Juventus, they've only had, I think, one shot on target. It's not really great. So Chelsea are missing Mason Mount, and without Mason Mount, it's actually really hard for Chelsea to create. I think Chelsea's midfield, I told it on the podcast as well, I think Chelsea's midfield is defensively great, offensively not the best, because they do miss that creative spark. Like, without Mason Mount in the team, it's showing that they're struggling to kind of like create for Lukaku and everything. And also Reece James is not there. That's another big loss. So I can see why people like, you can go without Lukaku for Southampton if you're not playing the wildcard as well. So it's not too bad of an option. But like game week 9, 10, 11, I think you need him. So if you're playing the wildcard now, probably go with Lukaku. So this is a decent front line, which brings us to 20 odd million I've got in a midfield. And a lot of us are going to be looking at Bielsa just confirmed that Rafinha is fit. If Rafinha is fit, I'll probably have Rafinha. One consideration though, keep in mind, is that he might miss game week 8 because Leeds, he could be going to Brazil, and the difference between the Brazilian game and Leeds game on the last part of the international break, he has only like 35 hours of difference between both games. So make of that what you will, because 35 hours, he's got to fly back to England. Will he be fit? I don't know about quarantine at that time as well. So he could potentially miss the Southampton game. But I think he's a good punt to bring in for Watford. If you're playing the wildcard as well, like if you're playing the wildcard in game week 8, you might as well just bring Rafinha now itself. Then who else would we be looking at midfield, right? So these two I think are the best. After that, it gets a bit harder. I do like an Arsenal midfielder in here. Now, I wouldn't recommend tripling up on Arsenal. Okay, so I've got Ramsdale here. I probably won't have Tierney if I have Ramsdale. If I have a goalkeeper, it's either Ramsdale or an Arsenal defender. I wouldn't recommend doubling up on Arsenal defense. So in that specific case, this is where I guess you switched back to a back four. You could probably have Duffy for price 6, or you could actually have. This is someone who has interested me. Obviously, Aston Villa defensively haven't been that great, but Matthew Cash, he is playing a wingback role, could occasionally appear for some of the games. You don't have to necessarily start him in all, but you could probably take advantage of the Wolves game, Southampton game, Crystal Palace, Brighton even Tottenham, to be honest. He could potentially be a decent punt. You could go with Christensen in here, but at the moment I'm just going to leave it like that, and we'll see the midfield and then we'll come back to it. So midfield, right? I do like, who is this? We go to Arsenal. This is why I don't want to triple up on Arsenal, because I want an Arsenal midfielder more than Tierney. And if you're getting Ramsdale, so Saka or Smith Rowe. Now both are really good options. Saka is a bit more minutes guaranteed, I would say. Smith Rowe could potentially alternate with Pepe. Now, if you watch the podcast, we had Roy on the podcast, and he's an Arsenal fan, and he is going for Smith Rowe for a couple of reasons, mainly being price. Price is probably one of the main reasons. The other reason is if Smith Rowe is fit, Smith Rowe starts, according to him. And I think there's very little between the two of them. I think both of them are really good options. I, at the moment, would probably prefer Saka because of the fact that I would want someone who's more guaranteed minutes. I think Smith Rowe could get rotated sometimes with Pepe, or Pepe could come off the bench, so that's a possibility. Keep that in mind. But yeah, Saka would probably be my choice. In terms of other midfielders, I think you need a 5 million midfielder, and I do like Gallagher as an option. He is a really good option. Even Demarai Gray, I did mention it before as well. Demarai Gray was a good option. The next two is not that great, but he is a decent option. I think Gallagher is a really good option. Keep in mind that Gallagher, when Milovic, I hope I missed that. Damn it, never mind. You know who I'm talking about. When he was on the pitch, he kind of took set pieces away from Gallagher, so that kind of reduces his appeal, but I still think he's a decent player. He's on top for stats wise. He's really good. He's really high up there. So I think he's a really good shout. And then the fifth midfielder, this is where it gets a bit hard because you're going to have two. This is where the whole 3-striker formation becomes a bit hard, and that's why you probably might end up dropping Vardy, and you might be going for a forward line of, I think a 6 million forward line is a decent option in terms of, let me actually increase this. There are a few people who are really good. I think Tony is a really good option. After the 2 games, you could probably keep him on the bench for the 2 games if you wanted to. Adam Armstrong, another good shout. Chelsea, obviously a tough game, but Leeds, Burnley, Watford, Aston Villa, and Norwich, good set of games. Then who else? I did increase it a bit more. Sorry. Gucci Gang Saint Max, another good option. Gucci Gang Saint Max. He's been scoring twice now. Sorry, he scored and assisted. He's been scoring, assist, which means he's going to score this game week. And he's playing Wolves. Oh my god, that's not good for my Wolves clean sheet. But anyways, that looks like his trend. So we'll see what happens. But he's also another really good option. Actually, if you're looking at the fixtures, Wolves, Tottenham, Crystal Palace, Chelsea a bit more hard, but Brighton, Brentford, Arsenal, okay, maybe, but Norwich, Burnley. He can go until game week 15, even game week 16. You could probably keep him until then. It's a really good long-term pick, so I would probably have Saint Max. Another thing is, so we have one more midfield spot and we have a defensive spot. Let's get our defensive spot sorted. I like, who can we have? So Laporte is decent. You could go for a double Chelsea defense, and in that specific case, Alonso could be one. But if Reece James is fit, I like Reece James over Alonso. And also, here's the thing. At the moment, we don't know what's going to happen. That Champions League game against Juventus and him getting subbed off at 45 minutes does dent his appeal, because there's a world-class player in Chilwell sitting on that bench, and that's not a good option to have as an FPL owner. So that's a bit of a worry. But Alonso does have a high upside. I'm thinking Christensen maybe, because he might occasionally get benched, and it's fine if he occasionally gets benched, because you got Livramento also coming on, and Livramento has like really good set of fixtures as well. So it's completely fine if Christensen occasionally misses the one-off game. Same thing could be said of Reece James if you want to. So for the moment, I'll put I'll put Christensen because he gives you more value. So it gives you like 7.1, in which you can put a midfielder. And this is where it gets interesting. You could probably have Benrahma if you continue to have Benrahma. It's a tough run of fixtures, but you could potentially have him. There isn't any particular midfielder. Grealish is a good shout for midfield, because I think Grealish could potentially be a good case if he can get his attacking returns a bit more up. Mbeumo, people have been speaking about Mbeumo as well as a decent shout, because the next set of fixtures is really good and he is up front. You guys have seen him up front with Tony. Who else? Sa, no, I wouldn't recommend Sa because Watford's fixtures. If anyone's in the chat and has a recommendation for another 5th midfielder, do go ahead. Can't really think of a 5th midfield, to be honest. This is the problem we're having with midfield. It's the fact that midfield is just not delivering. Who are people bringing in? Yeah, look at this. Like, this is just not inspiring at all, this midfield, in terms of people who are coming in. You know what? Sometimes can you even use that money to upgrade your striker? I mean, you could do this. You could go 9.3. Sheesh. How much was Vardy again? Vardy was 10.4. Why is Vardy 10.4? He's at that uncomfortable spot of price. Jimenez is Jimenez is actually a good shot as well. I do like Jimenez as an option, because Jimenez, even maybe Gabriel Jesus, because he seems to be doing well. Gabriel Jesus, he is performing. Aubameyang is a bit too expensive, and I don't want to triple up on Arsenal. Yeah, Jimenez could be a decent shout. Given Wolves' upcoming set of fixtures, it's not too bad. Obviously, he scored the goal on the week, so he could be a decent shout. Let's see if he improves his performances. But right now, I think maybe Saint Max is all right. But to be honest, I think Tony is a really much better option. And then you have the 7.6, and then that's where I would probably go for. This is where I don't know who to go for, actually, to be honest. There is no one who stands out per se. You could probably have Jota. Where did Jota go? You could probably... you don't really want to have Jota. Firmino is back. I don't know who to give you guys. I'm sorry. Because, like, midfield is just not performing. So I would just say Benrahma, and then this is where you go with... This is why people are going with Alonso. Because you can kind of see. If Alonso doesn't play, it's fine. Livramento is still there. So, I mean, this is why it's very hard to not question... put back the double Chelsea, double City. Because look at that, right? You can easily have a double Chelsea, double City. And you have a good fifth defender in Livramento who is ready to play as well. And you have a good front line, I would say. You have a midfield 3 of Salah, Saka, Rafinha, which isn't too bad. You got Benrahma as well. I mean, you can upgrade. Can you upgrade Benrahma to someone? Not really. I mean, you have this. What you could have done is you could go Smith Rowe instead, and you could upgrade. Oh no, you can't. If I got 8 million, I wouldn't have mind Grealish, to be honest. But Saka it is. Where is Saka? And Benrahma. There you go. I mean, this is a decent team for a wildcard for Game Week 7 and onwards. I can see why people are going with the double Chelsea, double City. Because you can still build a decent team and it's hard to knock it down. So this is kind of the team I'll be looking at. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. This is the double Chelsea and double City defense team. Okay, now there is another option. The option is the premium, right? And the premium, here's the thing. If you want to have the premium, I think you still need to have Antonio, because Antonio is just too good to ignore. He's basically acting as a premium player. His form is on a premium level player. So I don't think you can ignore Antonio. In that specific case, you kind of need to you can't have the double. And you can't have Diaz as well. Like, you probably have to go to one Chelsea, one City. You will need to downgrade a midfielder as well. And it doesn't look that great when it comes to that. In that specific situation, then you go into having... Who is performing? Douglas Luiz is performing. Okay. You could probably put Douglas Luiz. Okay. Because he's been playing the last few minutes, as you can see. 4.5. How has he been playing the last few minutes and hasn't been spoken about a lot? Interesting. So Douglas Luiz, you go for a defender pick in Duffy, and you kind of need to downgrade a bit more. But I don't really like to downgrade a bit more, which means you have to remove Saka, and you will have to bring in Smith Rowe, and that leaves you with 4.6 to get this guy. You could go with Tomiyasu, which is not too bad. Or you could also have Martial. But there is questions on Martial and the choice of Ant Nouri being back for Wolves. So that might be an issue for you. You could probably have Ben White as another option. That could be one. And you could probably go with... Actually, let me increase this size because I'm not sure if people are able to see this. You could go with Ben White, Tomiyasu, or who is another good option? Actually, I think Tomiyasu would be a decent option. And this is your premium draft. You can basically do this as a premium draft where you kind of have... let me move this a bit to the side here. You have Duffy, Rudiger, Cancelo, Tomiyasu, Livramento, Ramsdale, Josisa. Okay, I know why I don't have money, because I have two expensive goalkeepers. Okay. So that means you'll probably have a 4 million goalkeeper. And your 4 million goalkeeper, for me, I would take Foster, which gives you more money to do a double Chelsea defense. And in that specific situation, I do like Reece James as an option. You could still do Reece James if you wanted, if he starts. You could also do Christensen. For this case, I think we'll have Reece James because he is very attacking. And you could do this, something like this. And this is a really good team. You have your premium. Okay, it's Salah, Lukaku, Ronaldo, and you have Antonio. You have a solid defense. Okay, you've got Livramento as well in there. You have Ramsdale and Foster, not too bad. Your midfield is pretty bad. But the thing with the midfield being pretty bad is you could still go a 4-3-3. Yes, a 4-3-3 because you will have Rudiger, Cancelo, Reece James if he's fit, or you can move it to Christensen. Livramento, because Livramento's fixtures are good. You can play him over this set of fixtures. Rafinha, Salah, Smith Rowe, Gallagher, Douglas Luiz, Lukaku, Antonio, and Ronaldo. The issue that happens with this is when Trent is fit. And that's the specific situation in which you probably don't want Reece James and you probably want someone like a Christensen to give you that funds to change Cancelo, and most likely you will have to drop either Lukaku or Ronaldo by then. I think you probably drop Ronaldo. You have Christensen in there so that you can bring back Trent. And then you drop Ronaldo to someone I do like is Jamie Vardy. Because he has a decent set of fixtures. He's the 4th highest scorer in the Prem at the moment in terms of FPL. Alonso or Rudiger? Okay, SK has asked Alonso or Rudiger. I would go with Rudiger because Rudiger is more guaranteed of minutes. Alonso, here's the thing. Here's how we look at it. Rudiger has the higher floor, but Alonso has the higher ceiling. So that means Rudiger can always get you maybe a 6-pointer. Alonso has that. I think Alonso is getting to that point where he could potentially have been rotated with games with Chilwell. We saw in the Champions League, he got benched, he got taken off at halftime. If you have almost a 6 million, almost a 6 million left back in there, you want him starting the full 90 minutes. If he comes off at halftime, it's a bit annoying. So hence why I think Rudiger might be a better option. But if you have Rudiger and then you want to go on top with Alonso, that's also a decent option. So you could do this for people who want to have Trent, Lukaku. I mean, this is still a really good front line. You could remove Christensen. You could have Cancelo in here. Right? You can have Cancelo, Trent, Rudiger as your back three. And Livramento as well if you want to start him, or Duffy depending on the game. You could have Rafinha, Salah, Smith Rowe as your midfield. And your front three of Lukaku, Antonio, and Vardy. I think that's a really good team as well if you want to have Trent. So that's another option. You getting Alonso? No, I am not getting Alonso. So this is what my team looks like. And I got Rudiger and Kieran Tierney at the moment. I won't be getting Alonso for this week because I've already made my transfers. For next week, though, Alonso does interest me, to be honest. Here's the thing. I don't know. I want to see this. I need one more game to see if Alonso is going to start or not. Because if Alonso starts the Southampton game, then I will get Alonso. But at the moment, I'm thinking I can go without Alonso for one more game. I can remove Trent if I wanted to. And instead of Trent, I can play Cancelo maybe for this set of fixtures until even Southampton if needed. Because I'm trying to hold off not wildcarding. So I could remove Trent in my next game week, bring in a Cancelo, who I think is as risky as Alonso in terms of minutes at times. But City are really good, so I could bring a Cancelo and risk the occasional drop in because I'll have a decent defense to cover. If I was to pick Cancelo over Alonso, I'll probably pick Cancelo because of the fact that I have a Chelsea defender. He has been called up for Spain for May, not start game week. Oh, I didn't know he was called up for Spain. I thought he was not going for the international break. Okay, if he's been called up for Spain, then I mean, it still doesn't matter too much because of the fact that he might not have to quarantine or anything. The only thing is Chilwell is not called up. So that means Chilwell could have that advantage of training at Chelsea, working on his fitness, working on everything, working with anything that Tuchel needs to probably get back in form in favorite as a starting left back. So I think Cancelo is a better option. If you didn't have Alonso, if you had Rudiger right now, if you want ahead of this game week, if you want to get Alonso, I mean it's fair. And if you don't have the wildcard as well, right? If you don't have the wildcard and you want a 1 week punt, Alonso not too bad of a situation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair enough. Cool. But this team also, I think for me, probably I'm thinking of dropping Trent because I am looking at it and I'm like, because I'm trying to delay the wildcard myself. I don't think I'll wildcard in game week 8. So I'm thinking of wildcarding like game week 12 or something ahead of like United's really good set of fixtures, and also Liverpool's fixtures improve as well. So I'm thinking maybe I could drop Trent. I know it's ahead of the Watford game. I won't drop Trent ahead of the Watford game if I know he's going to start. I will probably make a transfer in midfield and then I'll drop Trent ahead of the United game. I think that's when I'm going to drop Trent, and then I will bring him back probably game week 15 onwards. That's when I'll actually bring Trent back in. And then during that time, I'll probably play Cancelo. Should I play Cancelo? Brighton, Crystal Palace, United, and West Ham in there. Maybe play Cancelo. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, things will change. Things can change. Like last game week, we didn't think we'll be in the situation where almost every single defender is out injured. So things can change. So you don't really want to plan too much ahead because things can change. But yeah. Any other questions for anyone? If not, I think what we'll do is we'll call it a day. I hope everyone has a good set of game week 7 fixtures. I mean, good set of matches. Enjoy the football. Hope everyone gets a green arrow by the end of the week. And also, if you're new, do hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Hit the like button. Thank you, SK, for staying in the chat as well. If you're new, do hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below. I'll answer every single question that's been put in the comments. So do put your questions in the comments. And if you're new, like I said, if you're new, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 75 subscribers before the start of game week 8. Is it possible? I think it is, but it's all very dependent on you. So I think you should get rid of Jota. He's unlikely to play game week 8 due to late return, and Firmino is not on duty. Yes, I think that is why I will probably hold off my my Trent this thing, and I might get rid of Jota ahead of game week 8 to bring in another midfielder. So most likely Saka. I think I like Saka, so I'll probably bring in Saka for Jota in the next transfer ahead of game week 8. So yeah, that's most likely going to be my thinking, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, that's basically the video for this one. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, SK, in your game week 7. Hope you get some good points and a huge green arrow. And yeah, if you're new, everyone, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you have questions, put it in the comments below. And I'll see everyone so next week, we're not going to have the podcast because it's the international game week, but I'll have a game week 8 wildcard video. So I'll see everyone next Wednesday for Game Week 8 Wildcard video. We'll do it live on stream over here on YouTube. So hit the subscribe button and I'll see you all later. Thank you all.